This is the Shaver Prep Football Podcast, episode 38, season 2, presented by Aquarius Home Services and brought to you by True Stone Financial, 612 Quarterbacks, and powered by 10K Construction. Well, let me start by saying congratulations to Mike Grant. The Eden Prairie head football coach won his 400th career game on Friday night, which puts him in elite company. He joins just Mike Malin of Verndale, Minnesota's all-time wins leader with 440 victories, and Dwight Lundeen of Becker, who after their playoff win on Saturday sits at 417 wins. And Mike, now with 400, and he plans to keep coaching for a while, he'll likely end up the state's winningest head coach. After a big weekend of playoff football, our Talk North Walk the Talk winner is Howie Johnson of Forest Lake, who had 3 tackles for losses in their win over Coon Rapids, giving him 104 in his 4-year career, a new all-time state record. And I caught up with Howie. And Howie Johnson from Forest Lake joins me now. First of all, you look like you're crammed into the backseat of a car there. Are you okay? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good. This is just a little hatchback, and if I had the choice, I'd be driving a truck. But however, I have no job, therefore no money. So this is what we got.
Well, it works for today, and I appreciate you coming on. Howie Johnson, of course, setting the state high school league record for most tackles for losses in a career. Last night he had 3 against Coon Rapids, which gives him 104 in his career. So congratulations to you. I don't know if this was something that you circled on your calendar for this year, that you made it maybe a private priority that you wanted to do, because I know that you're not one of those guys that wants to talk about records. You'd rather talk about wins. But just tell me about last night and how maybe gratifying it was to finally set this mark.
If I'm being 100% honest, going into this year, I didn't even know that I was close to the record or if it was even like within a shot. So I didn't really think about that. But then my coaches pointed out, like, I don't know, maybe week 2 or week 3. So I'm like, oh, all right, bet. Let's go set a state record. Why not? And it just so happened to line up that last night I just needed a few more TFLs to then set the state record. And if I'm being 100% honest, it was a humbling moment because, I mean, to set the state record for TFLs in a career as a defensive lineman, I mean, normally that's linebacker things, but like as a defensive lineman, I'm completely honored, and it's a humbling experience.
I was just going to say that this kind of a record, a tackles record or something like that, is more times than not a linebacker, just because of their ability to do more than one thing. You are hands on the ground every play, right? So that's what
So
makes, I think, this record so much more special. Do you remember the play last night that set the record?
I do.
Describe the play.
I do. I was in a 3 technique, and we had linebacker blitz on. So Nate came in, pass play, obviously. Um, so then I got my extension. I saw the quarterback, and I was like, all right, let's get him. Duh. So then I got past the defender, ran at the quarterback. He tried to juke me with his shoulders and then run the other way. I didn't fall for that because I'm not a dummy. I got it tackled, and I stood up, and I just lost my mind because it it was an amazing moment. And then the game had stopped. We took a timeout. I was congratulated over the loudspeaker. Everyone's going crazy. I'm getting hugs from everybody because obviously it's a long run, and it
Yeah.
was a long time in the making.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, for a player who has a 4-year football career, even these numbers are staggering to be able to get to 104 tackles for losses. Do you remember your first one? Do you remember your first tackle for loss?
Shoot. I think I
Probably
do.
not.
I think I do. It was either against, I think it was either STMA or Anoka.
So this would have been 2022,
Yeah, freshman year.
freshman year, and you only had 3 that year.
Yeah, that was
which
definitely a
which
learning year.
which makes this mark even more impressive because that year you had 3 tackles for losses and 2 sacks. So really 5. And you end up at 104. What the heck between freshman and sophomore year took place for you to get on this incredible run?
You know, it was really just this mentality thing. I didn't make that many plays and I thought that's stupid. I want to make more plays. I want to be in everything. I want to be the reason that games are flipped on its head. And so I took the offseason very serious. I was like, I'm going to get better. I'm going to work on my hands. I'm going to work my aggression. I'm going to work stunts. I'm going to do everything possible so that I can affect the game even more. And sorry if there's any, just side note, sorry if there's any music going on in the
Oh,
background. There's a youth football game on our field.
no, not a
But,
problem.
I took everything very serious because I wanted to win really, really badly, and I wanted to be the difference maker in every single football game.
Well, you've certainly done that. You win last night 57-7. And you and I talked actually on this podcast at the beginning of the season. And you made a statement, and I'm going to paraphrase something to the effect of, we haven't, this is the year where we're going to put this thing all together, that you were so focused on trying to get this team to state. How do you feel now as you head into round 2 of the 6A playoffs?
I feel prepared and I feel ready. I mean, Edina's no joke, obviously.
Right.
Big school, Mason West. Their defensive lineman who also plays left tackle. I can't.
Sawyer.
Yeah, Sawyer.
Yeah.
Sawyer. He's a dog too. I mean, in my
Yeah.
opinion, Minnesota's better, but um they're a good team. You can't sleep on them. You can't just roll the balls out and play football because if you do that, then you're going to get steamrolled. You got to have a game plan. And if we play all of our cards right and we do what we're supposed to, it should be fun.
So next Friday, this coming Friday, Forest Lake will host Edina in round 2 of the state playoffs. All right, Howie, thanks so much. How still full steam ahead? Go for football. I hesitate to even ask because I can see the excitement in you. I'm assuming everything is still rock solid heading to the Gophers next year.
Yes, sir. We're still going with Gophers because, again, home team. Home team always dreamed to play for them. And plus, nobody else came for me, which makes it even better.
All right. Congratulations on your big night last night and keep it going.
Thank you.
All right. It's time to look ahead. Winter will be here before you know it, which means your furnace better be ready to roll. So make sure, thanks to Aquarius Home Services. Right now, they have a crazy good deal. A furnace tune-up for only $29. Yep, $29. A trained technician will give your HVAC system a thorough evaluation. They'll go over all the findings with you. And trust me, it's better to find the problems now before the snow flies. Find out more at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended. I was at the Holy Family section semifinal win over Dassel Cokato on Saturday. Big touchdown catch here. The game went back and forth, and eventually Holy Family prevailed 35-32 to avenge an earlier loss to the Chargers and to earn a spot in the Section 2 3A championship game. Saturday saw its share of upsets, with 2 number 6 seeds earning a berth in the section finals. 6 seed Thief River Falls upset Minnewaska, and Randolph shocked number 2 seed Rush City in the Section 2 4A semifinal 38-12. And let's bring in Mike Schmidt, the head football coach at Randolph, a 6 seed in Section 4 2A, but pulling off the upset in beating Rush City to advance to the section final 38-12. It's not often, Mike, that you see a 6 seed in Minnesota high school football make it to the semifinals, let alone to a section final. What's going on in Randolph right now? You've won 4 straight.
Yeah, well, Randy, tough schedule was part of it. So we've been conditioned for this a little bit. A little iron sharpens iron throughout the year. We've lost some close ones along the way, a couple 1-point losses. Another one I thought we probably could have won if we didn't turn the ball over like we had. But the thing we kept coming back to with the players was we actually used our neighbors to the east, Cannon Falls, as an example. When they first kind of started making their run going to state, they were actually 2-6 in the regular season, end up winning their section to go to state for the first time. So we kind of kept coming back to that and just trusting them to believe in what we were, preaching and to believe in themselves. And here we are now. And they stuck to that and they kept believing in what we were doing. And, we knew we had the pieces. We just had to kind of figure out what that jigsaw puzzle, how it all went together, and feel good about where we're at right now.
So at 1-5, did you feel like it was going to be a hard sell, or were they still all in when you were 1-5?
It felt like, we knew it was going to be a tough sell, but we felt like they were all in. This is a group that's always been pretty successful, throughout, from elementary to junior high. And so they've experienced success. But one thing that I think maybe they weren't accustomed to was having to, battle, the way they've had to this year and overcome some adversity. And, but yeah, I couldn't be more proud of where we're at now with how they fought through this, because it'd have been really easy at 1-5 to kind of shut it down and look forward to basketball or wrestling and move on. But they didn't do that, and they trusted us. And yeah, it's been a fun ride so far.
So now you get Goodhue in the section final. You played them in week 2. You lost a kind of a rainy night game at home, 20-0. What do you take away from that game now that you know you're going to play them again? And just talk about your team's confidence level at this point.
Yeah, the thing about Goodhue is I've known Tony for a while and watched him from afar coach, and they're always well-disciplined. They're always physical. They're always going to be in the mix regardless of how many kids they graduate. There's a very well-coached team and have a great tradition. The first time we played them, I feel like we're a completely different team, especially offensively now, going into this matchup. And it's one of those where we felt, it was 20-0, but felt we had some opportunities that, could have been closer than that. And I do think they were the better team the first time. So it's going to be a fun matchup, and I am certainly looking forward to it.
For a coach who has got his team back to 5-5, you must be able to just kind of take a breath here, because this thing was heading south and your kids stuck with it. As a coach, how good did it feel to win that section semifinal against a 2 seed, to know that you've got this thing kind of back on track?
Oh, I mean, it feels great. It really lets me know that the kids did trust what the message we were giving them, that this thing wasn't over. And, it's a beautiful thing about the state of Minnesota is everybody does get an opportunity in the playoffs, because if we were next door to the East in Wisconsin, our season would have been done after that regular season game. So, we appreciate having the opportunity to continue to grow and continue to get better. And, we've been able to do that. And yeah, it's a lot of credit to our players for sticking with it too. Cause like I said, it would have been very easy to shut down after a while, not having success. And, a few of those were pretty rough. We had a rough game against Dover. Our quarterback was out, which was hard. And then back to back with Caledonia, and they're playing really good football right now too. So for them to trust in the process, yeah, I'm very appreciative and proud of them for doing that.
Well, congratulations. Randolph moving on to the section final on Friday night, taking on Goodhue. Should be a great game. Mike, thanks for doing this.
Hey, appreciate you, Randy. Take care.
10K Construction is your one stop for all your general contracting needs, whether interior, exterior, residential, commercial, or multifamily properties. They build relationships with their clients, and that's how they've grown their business, through referrals. Plus, they are teaming up with LP SmartSide to become Minnesota's premier siding installer. And they're also partnering with IKO Shingles as well. They've got the best of the best to do the job right. 10K Construction covers both Minnesota and Wisconsin. Now, the rumor is they charge a little extra because it's Packer land. I'm not sure about that. But what I am sure about, 10K Construction is the company you want handling all of your general contracting needs. Go to 10kconstruction.com for details. Well, this is one of Totino Grace's finest, Tony Pastoors, who is in his 15th season with the Los Angeles Rams, now serving as the Vice President of Football and Business Administration, which in other words means he's a big shot. And we're so happy to have him join us. I appreciate it. 2005, Tony Pastoors, along with your secondary teammate, Bobby Clint, both made my Care 11 All-Metro football team for great reason. Jeff Ferguson told me the other day, best two defensive backs he ever coached in high school. But you didn't start at the safety spot that year. He had you at quarterback and then decided halfway through, I need to make a change, because you were a safety the year before, and he moved you back. What do you remember about your high school football days, and especially Fergie, because he's such a great coach, but also a character at the same time?
Yeah, no, it's been 20 years now, so you're reminding me how old I am. As my 5-year-old sits across the way here looking at me. But what I do remember, it's the people, and it is Coach Ferguson, Coach Bernie, the techie, Coach Brian, the techie, Jay Anderson, and then your teammates, right? Bobby and friends like Brian Kubelbeck and folks that, I'd stay in touch with even to this day. And it was a ton of fun, right? Like, the most fun you probably ever have on a football field is when you're in high school. And I had a lot of really good teammates. We had a lot of success. I think it was sophomore year I played defensive back. We won a state championship. Junior year, they moved me into quarterback. We won another state championship. So naturally, it started at senior year that way until Fergie wanted a better defense. So he moves me back. A defensive coach wanting a better defense. So moved me back, and unfortunately, we fell a little short, but it was still a wild few-year ride.
He describes you in one word, driven. Where did that come from?
I think obviously it starts at home. My parents, worked so hard to give, me and my siblings opportunities to go to a place like Totino Grace. My mom worked there for 20 years. My brother's still a teacher and coach there. So it's kind of a place I was born into, but being around, those people, Coach Ferguson, like I mentioned, both coach the techies, they made sure you were driven. And I am so grateful for all of them, because they wouldn't let me let down. And, for some reason they saw potential in a 5'10", 130-pound kid, and wanted to make sure I lived up to it. And so they helped get me off to college and allowed me to play at the next level and helped me fulfill a dream by working in the NFL.
Did high school football, Tony, feel big back then? And as the years have passed, how much do you appreciate and cherish that time?
Oh, it absolutely. Friday nights were the biggest thing, and then we'd all go to someone's house after and watch you and do the prep sports extra stuff and see all the scores and how everybody did, and hopefully get some highlights in there if we did our job. But it was awesome, and then you go on to the next level, and it's suddenly you're not playing Friday night under the lights with your friends. It's a job, and you're working year round for in the Ivy League for 10 dates a year. To then you get to the NFL, and obviously Sundays are huge, as are Mondays, as are Thursdays, as are pretty much every day of the week.
Yeah.
But then we get to spend all week hearing about how good or bad we were, and the media at the NFL level is wild. And so the high school stuff was a ton of fun, and it's only gotten bigger from there.
So you go to Dartmouth, you play football there, but more importantly, you get a great education. What was the plan? Did you always want to work in the NFL, or how did you find your way into this this opportunity?
I did. I always wanted to work in professional sports. And, when I was at Grace, and, like I said, I had some really good teammates. We had some good teams, and got some opportunities, some local opportunities. But then when the Ivy League started to recruit me, I thought I was going to go to Harvard and play for Coach Murphy. And then it just so happened I met his best friend, Buddy Stevens, who was the head coach at Dartmouth.
Yep.
He had just finished at Stanford. Things didn't work out so well, so Buddy came home, and he's a Dartmouth alum himself. And it was the first time I met him. I spent a few hours in his office, and we didn't talk about football at all. It was everything but, and it was about life and about how, his goals, for us as players, and for us as people. And, he was such a huge influence and impact on me. And so, when I told Buddy as a high school senior that I wanted to work in professional sports, he said, then that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get you there. And he did. He followed through, and he helped me every step of the way. And so I will forever be grateful for Coach Stevens and the Dartmouth community.
So you're with the Rams. You report and work directly with your team president. Give us just a sample of what your duties are with the Rams.
Man, I wish I knew. It has finished 15 years, going on 16 seasons this fall. And from where it started in 2010 in St. Louis to where we sit today in Los Angeles, in SoFi Stadium, it's been incredible. And to work alongside Kevin Demoff, who is now not just the president of the Los Angeles Rams, he's the president of all teams and media operation for Kroenke Sports, which CNBC just let the world know that Kroenke Sports is the most valuable global sports property in the world. Between the Rams and the Nuggets and the Avalanche and the Colorado Rapids and Arsenal and SoFi Stadium and Ball Arena. And so Kevin's got a lot on his plate, which means there's a lot on my plate. And so while he's running a global sports property, I'm trying to help make sure things are running smoothly in Los Angeles. So I spend a lot of my time. My office is tucked right between the head coach and general manager, which keeps me busy, as you can imagine.
Yep.
But it's, every day is something different. And I think that's probably why I've loved each and every day working for the Rams. I never quite know what's going to walk through the door or what problems are going to arise. But I think that's what makes it fun. And to work alongside people like Sean McVay and Les Snead and the Kroenke family is truly, it's a once in a lifetime type job.
Is it what you envisioned when you were a senior in high school?
It's better.
Really?
It truly is better. Now, I say that because we've had some pretty good success now.
Right.
There's a few years at the beginning. I think the first 8 years of my career, we never made the postseason, so it probably wasn't better at that point. But when you get to open SoFi Stadium, you get to win a Super Bowl in your home stadium, help design a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
And now, you think about what we've got. We're less than a year away from World Cup soccer in Los Angeles. We're going to have 9 games, including the Team USA is going to open the World Cup in Los Angeles on U.S. soil. So, excited about that. And then 2 years later, we've got the Olympic Games. And so
you're busy.
I'd always wanted to work in sports. I guess I never knew, working for an NFL team was suddenly going to put you in with FIFA and the USOC and all that kind of stuff.
Incredible. High school football players, coaches, parents watch this podcast. I'm always trying to give some advice to those players when they see a guy like you who had success on the field in high school, who has taken your education to a level that you have. What do you tell high school football players, first of all, about playing the game, how to be the best at that, but also keeping in mind that you can't play it forever. There's another life out there. What would you say? Yeah,
again, I'll give some credit to the people at Grace who were the ones that pushed me and drove me. And I think they were also probably realistic. I think I probably realized pretty quickly I wasn't made for the NFL. I think it was a visit to the University of Nebraska, maybe before my junior season. And again, I maybe weighed 135, 140 pounds. And they're telling me I'm going to weigh 235 and play outside linebacker. And I'm looking at them like they are nuts. And I'm like, maybe this isn't for me. And then, like I said, when you start getting recruited by the Ivy League schools and you spend time on those campuses, and you step into those classrooms and realize there are some really, really smart people out there. And I am certainly not one of them. But to be able to siphon some knowledge off of them and to learn alongside some of the best advice in the country, it was a great opportunity. And I think it was kind of going through that high school recruiting process. And it was Coach Ferguson and the Totino staff that just were so supportive, but also like, hey, just let's worry about what's in front of us, take care of the business that we have, and we'll look up at the scoreboard, we'll see how we do. And I think that was kind of always my approach, is to leave everything you can for your teammates. And because of that and the success we had as a team, that's how I was recruited. I wasn't someone that went around to a bunch of camps or anything like that. I know the world is very different now with NIL, and I can't even keep track of it. But, I think it was just one of those, playing for your teammates and having fun and working your tail off. And then, also being realistic. Like I said, I probably was, probably one of my strengths. I'm a realist. I know what I can do. I know what I probably struggle to do. And so, knowing early on that education, and it was Buddy who told me, Dartmouth isn't a 4-year decision. It's a 40-year commitment.
Yeah.
And it is. That Dartmouth degree follows me everywhere I go. The Dartmouth network follows me everywhere I go. And so it's a special place, and I'm glad I made that decision. And Buddy also, the wisdom of him, he wasn't a guy that recruited against anybody. He didn't say a bad word about Harvard. And I find out it is because it is his best friend in the world. And unfortunately, when Buddy passed, I actually spoke right after Coach Murphy at his memorial. And so it is one of those things. I did mention that to Murphy. It was like, he never said a bad word about you or Harvard. And I said, hey, it wasn't Buddy. And Buddy often talked about how football could get taken away at any time, right? It's a brutal sport. It's a tough game. And unfortunately for me, I lost my sophomore season to a hip surgery. And then my senior season was cut short with a heart virus. And so I am so grateful that I did choose Dartmouth. And I am so grateful for the people that supported me through Dartmouth, because, not only was I not good enough to play in the NFL, I'm not even sure I was good enough to play in college. But no, prioritizing your education is something that you can never go wrong with.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It was certainly a joy to watch you play football for Totino Grayson. I wish you nothing but continued success in Los Angeles. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This episode is brought to you by 612 Quarterbacks, Minnesota's premier quarterback development program. At 612 Qs, they're committed to creating a high-quality quarterback development program, both affordable and accessible. Their training goes beyond the basics, not only focusing on proper throwing mechanics and footwork, but also building strong football IQ, leadership, and resilience. Their mission is to educate, inspire, and challenge athletes to raise their standards on the field and in life. Through training and mentorship, they're building more than quarterbacks. They're building a community rooted in growth, accountability, and shared success. Learn more today at 612quarterbacks.com. I was visiting with my friends at Truestone Financial the other day. They're a warm and welcoming group. They're known as the Neighborhood Credit Union, and I can't think of a better way to describe them. When I'm at Truestone, I feel like I'm chatting with my neighbors. Combine that personality with a full menu of services and a lot of financial expertise, and you have a winning combination. Whether I need a checking account, a car loan, or even a mortgage, I know I'm going to work with some very smart, friendly people. With 23 locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, you're not far from a Truestone neighborhood. Visit a branch near you or learn more at truestone.org. Truestone is an equal housing opportunity lender. Our Talk North playoff games of the week this week on Friday, October 31st. In Class 4A, Casson Manorville plays the number one team in 4A, Byron. It promises to be a great game in southeast Minnesota. And in the Metro, a battle of Class 3A unbeaten teams in Section 4-3A, Minneapolis North against St. Croix Lutheran. The winners this week go to state. The Shaver Prep Football Podcast drops every Monday, and you can catch us on YouTube and where podcasts can be found. My thanks to Alex Haugen and the great folks here at Talk North. Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week.